How you guys doing? I want to tell you guys about the lien theory today. And if you haven't heard about the lien theory, I'm going to read it verbatim right from the book. So right here it says, years ago, if you borrowed money, you would actually give title and possession of your property to the lenders. As you might imagine, can create some obvious problem for the borrower. Lenders would flip you off your property if they felt that there was even a remote possibility of a default. So something had to be devised to correct this serious problem, and back in the 1700s, some bright minds got together and came up with a theory called the hypotheca theory. It stated that a lender only had a lien on one's property that could only activate, and they could only activate this lien if an actual default occurred. This is what we practice here in the United States, and this is what I want to tell you about is how you invest in these tax liens. So in order to do that best, I made a quick presentation. I hope you guys can stick with me and watch it for a moment because it'll answer a lot of questions about how you can benefit, how the state can benefit, and how everyone can benefit from you investing in tax lien certificates. How would you feel after investing in a property only to be upside down because of rising interest and inflation rates? Most people don't have enough required capital to purchase an investment property because the shrinking inventory is being scooped up by cash-rich investors who can overbid on properties while avoiding inflated interest fees. So I've created a no-risk strategy that allows you to turn the tables and make quantum real estate investments, giving you a chance to acquire properties for pennies on the dollar and getting a guaranteed return on your money. I know. Each year, thousands of taxpayers become subject to losing their property for non-payment of property taxes. There are many reasons for this: carelessness, forgetfulness, a wrong mailing address on file, deaths, or the inability to pay. The reasons go on and on. In the state of Arizona, it's estimated that taxes could be reduced by about 18% if all property taxes were paid when due. The reality of this situation, however, provides astute investors with an opportunity for a safe, secure investment with a rate of return unmatched in the general American investment arena. It's possible to start this program with as small of an investment as $2,000 and then add to it as more is available. Although the possibilities are many, it must be recognized that this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It requires level-headed planning, research time, patience, good record keeping, and some capital outlay. And because of this, I charge a $500 initiation fee on top of the setup fees. The setup and the initiation fee is only required once, and that's prior to our first transaction. One must also consider that the funds invested may not quite possibly be liquid for a period of time. If adequate attention is given to these considerations, the experience can be lucrative and exciting. It's true, tax delinquency opportunities present tantalizing situations by which one may acquire properties by paying the taxes thereon, but one should not enter into the field with this motivation in mind. The real value is the attractive, stable, and satisfying rate of returns on invested funds. Considering the program for investment only, one would be hard-pressed to find a savings account, a bank CD, stocks, or bonds which have a comparable return. The acquisition of properties is an opportunity offered to investors in the tax lien field, but this is the result of careful observation, research, and astuteness in planning. There are multiple strategies to get to the foreclosure process, but they all take patience and skill, but typically result in the highest and best ROI. My goal for you is to introduce you to a proactive and investment adventure and to suggest how it can minimize financial risk while generously rewarding participants. Perhaps a word of caution should be inserted here, because once a person understands how this tax lien program works, he often begins to exhibit what is known as the fever. He perceives how the funds can grow, but might be inclined to forget that his invested funds are not immediately liquid. Good consultation can help you mitigate this. Naturally, the states depend upon the revenues expected from the taxpayers to conduct the business of the state and its political subdivisions, including schools, police and fire departments, libraries, and so on. When these funds are forthcoming, it compares to an individual receiving a paycheck when he counts on it to pay his bills. Each state has devised its own program for collecting property taxes. In California, as an example, when taxes are 5 years delinquent, the property itself is sold at auction. There is no redemption period. Other states, like Arizona, Nevada, Florida, Texas, and a few others, will offer the tax liens to investors who buy them because of their generous rate of return. And that rate of return is prescribed by the law. For the purpose of this presentation, and to help you understand the basics, I'm going to talk about the Arizona format. Taxes are calculated annually on an assessed valuation of each parcel for the period January 1st to December 31st. A notice of the value established by the assessor on which the tax will be based is mailed to the taxpayer. If the taxpayer wishes to challenge the valuation, he may do so between January 2nd and February 15th. Taxes for the current year are recorded as a treasurer's lien against the property on the first Monday after January 1st each year. Tax bills, by law, must be mailed to taxpayers at least 45 days before the first half becomes delinquent. Taxes are usually paid in arrears. So, for an example, the first half of taxes for 2022 is due September 1st, 2022, and they're considered delinquent November 1st, 2022. The second half of taxes for 2022 is due March 1st, 2023, and those are considered delinquent May 1st, 2023. If tax is not paid when due, then the treasurer will impose a penalty charge thereon. And during February of each year, an auction is held to offer to the public for investment tax liens which have been unpaid for 2 years. Tax liens not sold at the auction are listed in volumes in the back tax section of the county's treasurer's office, and they may be purchased by investors throughout the year. In Arizona, the taxpayer has a 3-year redemption period dating from the auction date, which means if a parcel wasn't sold at auction and has 3 or more years of available tax liens, you can forego the redemption period. Tax liens not redeemed or sold to an investor within a 5-year period dating from the date that they were originally auctioned result in the state foreclosing on the property and offering it to the public at their excess land auctions. Remember, if you aren't competing up, then you're negotiating down. The investor and I will be entering into a partnership consultation agreement in which an entity will be formed via a joint venture I will be acting as the manager, handling the day-to-day operations and strategies. You will be acting as the member, collecting mailbox money. The investor owns 70% of the joint venture. I own 30% of the joint venture. Next, establishing an EIN and bidder number is a task that, as manager, I will also oversee. These registrations allow us to operate in the tax lien field on a nationwide scale. The investor is to be solely responsible for funding the business bank account owned by the joint venture for the pursuit of tax certificate acquisitions. In doing this, I will research and present investment opportunities that the investor will approve or disapprove. And when an opportunity is approved, we will go through the process of acquiring said tax certificates in the name of our joint venture. Well, how much money can you expect to make? If the acquired certificate is redeemed by the property owner, the interest will be divided according to the ownership in the joint venture. So 70% of the profit is yours, 30% is mine. If the certificate is not redeemed and the title is foreclosable, then the investor will pay any additional attorney fees that the retainer does not cover to complete the foreclosure process. Any revenue generated through this process will be divided according to the ownership in our venture. So again, 70% of this profit is yours and 30% is mine. And because my time is limited, I can only accept 4 in 20 investors that imply. So, if you would like to invest in real estate with no risk, then please go to chatwithcody.com to schedule a time to speak with me about different markets, strategies, and ideas that would work for you. Other opportunities can be gimmicky, but with this you get complete control. Let me know if you're interested.
Look. How?
Well, we're back, and hey, my family's back. So that's a quick video. I'd love to show you guys more about how each market works. There's 11 different markets in the country. They all have different timelines, and I'd like to show you how each one fits and could fit into your portfolio. To best do that, go to chatwithcody.com. We'll talk about your arena and how to fit it the best for you. Thanks.